Hey there, the name's Sheldon. I am a Raider King. Some of you may remember me, some of you may just be meeting me for the first time. Either way, I'd say you're awful lucky there, friendo. I and my crew have built one of the largest Raider cities this side of the wasteland. It used to be some old farm or something like that. To be honest with you, it's been so long ago, I really can't remember the jobs and the purpose of the people who used to live here. But I did kill them, and I guess that's the important part for our conversation. Yes, indeed, though, thanks to me, my expertise, and a little bit of elbow grease, we have turned this place into the pinnacle of organized crime and debauchery. Now, I know it's been a minute since we've seen each other, so how about a bit of a refresher? Last episode, we finally started taking territory for ourselves. One of the first and most important of these conquerings was the Corvega plant, supplying us with plenty of steel, aluminum, and other metallic resources that are crucial to our operation. It also means that we own Lexington. We've also started our journey into taking many gunner settlements as well, like the junction here of the bridges that control a lot of the traffic coming towards the north. And perhaps the bulk of what we did last episode was start taking out a variety of scattered raider gangs all throughout Boston, taking their territories, their settlements, and their businesses for ourselves. So much so, in fact, that I would consider most other raider gangs small potatoes at this point. Now, I'm still going to kill them, of course, if I come across them, but I think you get what I mean. And perhaps the most important accomplishment to date, we took over the airways of Trinity Tower, turning it into a huge raider recruitment beacon, which has recently caused a massive surge in our numbers. But alas, even with all this, my hunger for power continues. What do you think, Pet Cricket? Is it time for some slaughtering? Oh yes, I thought you might say that, old friend. Alright then, let's jumpstart the old power armor, gather up Strong and the others, and be on our way. Wait a minute. We never did give our other companion a name. She's been with us for so long at this point. Luckily, our friend X-Explosive L has a name for her. Guy. That one guy, but Guy for short. That'll work. Alright, back to business. One of the first places that we're going to be, air quotes, conquering is the Wicked Shipping Fleet lockup yard right next to our city. Now really, we've owned it for quite a while, but nobody ever ventured over here due to the feral ghouls. It would seem some of my gang members are massive pussies. But me? Not so much. Once I came in, cut up all the feral ghouls into little pieces, they were no longer a threat. And we could use this place as a proper storage facility for all those metallic resources we're getting from the Corvega plant, or really, whenever we so choose, of course. I'm only going to be stationing a very small handful of my soldiers here because I don't want to overextend myself. With our great big takeover in Boston, we really need more numbers down there. And besides, if we're only going to be using this place as storage, it's not that big of a deal. We also do have a Protectron here that I hacked and used as a security bot, so everything should be hunky-dory. I named him Lemon because of his yellow color and also because he's a bit of a piece of junk. Regardless though, he and the others will now serve as a security force for our warehouse and as a first line of defense and notification if the city is going to be attacked from the west, so all in all pretty useful. But that's boring. You want to see something interesting. Let us continue, shall we? Our real conquest this episode's going to continue where I find some other raiders out on a bridge. Looks like they've been scattered since I've taken out the main group. Hard to say whose crew they were a part of, but best I dispatch of them either way. I started the party with a bit of sniping, and then I turned Strong loose with his minigun. I was so excited to see how well he'd do with it, but he got a little carried away and whipped out the sledgehammer, cracking skulls like a melon. Unlike Strong, though, these raiders actually had some super mutant companions who were much less civilized. I handled them accordingly. And and then we would continue on our journey south, destroying anything in our path and taking it for ourselves. As pointed out by our friend Yuyani_K, taking over the gunners' bases is an ample idea and would give us a great advantage against all foes. And also pointed out by our friend Capo Fisk, Gunner Plaza would give us the range for radio broadcast of our recruitment beacon, and in my opinion, that is the perfect way to finish off our empire, to truly solidify ourselves as the powerhouse of the wasteland, and the perfect way to finish this series. So it begins. Some prime real estate that the gunners are just occupying for a temporary period of time. Time for us to suck it up like a blob. I'm gonna eat their hearts like a tin of cram. I started off with their pathetic automated defenses, and then I started with them themselves. Most of them didn't even have shirts on. Did they really think they stood a chance against me, a walking bulldozer with a shotgun attached? I think not, little fellow. Well then, I suppose that takes care of that. Easier than I expected. I would guess that our efforts recently of already taking out gunners' settlements in prior videos has led to some deficiencies in their ranks. Nevertheless, I don't really care about their manpower, I just care about these sweet settlements that they're leaving behind in their abrupt absence at the end of our rifles. Yet another strategic vantage point captured and added to our empire and repertoire of these bases. For obvious reasons, a settlement like this will require a good bit of our own manpower, and thus I will be forking over a decent bit of our soldiers to guard it and to man it. Again though, not to beat a dead horse, but thanks to our recruitment beacon at Trinity Tower, I don't think manning places like this is ever going to be an issue again. This is great. I'm having a blast. Let's keep going. Not too far away, I found a relay tower, and though it is tiny and somewhat insignificant, I would go ahead and set it up with our recruitment signal as well. A couple more of these, and we'll basically already be covering the entire wasteland, except a little bit further to the south, around Gunner Plaza. After setting up the relay tower, though, I began making my way a bit further to the east. It was at this point that I encountered what appeared to be a caravan. Not paying their taxes to the Raider Empire. Probably some of those hippie sissies who are always saying, oh, taxation is theft. I'll show you theft. Alright, maybe a little bit dramatic for one caravan not paying taxes, and to be fair, I didn't ask them if they would pay their taxes, and okay, to even be more fair, they probably didn't know they had to. But now we got all the stuff from the caravan. That's pretty cool. Next to where we took out the caravan, though, was our true target, the National Guard Recruitment Office and Armory. No doubt most of the good stuff has been looted long ago, but word has it there's a pack of feral ghouls inside this fortification, and I'd like to have it for myself. I started by taking out some of these turrets someone left behind. It must be pretty bad if they couldn't even bring them with them. And on the inside, I would encounter the pack of ghouls, chopping them in half, and Pet Cricket would nibble on their bones, that sort of thing. Upstairs, with my axe in hand, I would also encounter a glowing one. You must be the alpha of the group. Or you were, that is. Truly the most dangerous defense of this place we found was a gigantic sentry bot out back who was putting up a hell of a fight. Take this as a lesson. The relics of the past will bend to the will of the Raider King and his empire, or they'll be left in the ashes. Now then, with all the bad people and bad things gone from the armory, we could check out some of the armor and weapons that were here. Armor we were kind of lacking, but there were plenty of assault rifles as well as ammunition for them, and even a radium rifle. Now that's an interesting little find. And that was just the recruiting office. The real treasures were within the armory. Plenty of ammunition, grenades, and mines to arm all of our gang and soldiers. There was a set of power armor in here that was T60. We had some scavenger power armor out back, and even more locked away behind a security gate. Plenty to share. Now, I'm not a skillful locksmith, so I suppose one of my men will need to cut it with a torch. Obviously, though, before we could call the National Guard place here our own, we would need some pretty major improvements, which would require us to do a lot of building and to do a lot of manpower movement over to this area. Lucky for you, you don't have to watch all that and you can see the finished product. This actually ended up being one of our largest settlements to date. We are going to have plenty of weapons and armor stored here for the Empire. The city is more of a residential area with businesses and other things. Of course, we have stockpiles of ammo there, but having a specific place to put it all is much better, I think. Besides, it also wouldn't hurt to have a proper place to train some of these people. Most of them are farmers and settlers looking to make a good few caps as a raider. And they couldn't hit the broadside of a Brahmin with a pipe rifle. Ah, another feather in my cap, as they say, another stone in my wall, another bullet for my rifle. This place is going to be wonderful, mark my words. I've even built myself a power armor garage out back for my personal storage of them, since I have so many now for our men to work on and to use if they need to. Speaking of which, as much as I love Old Red here, that's what I call my power armor, I think it's time for some improvements. Ooh. Don't that T60 just shine? That's right, baby. No more junky scrap metal armor. I'm moving on up in the world. It ain't much, but it's a nice addition, and it can take a lot more of a hit. It would come in mighty handy when I met some slimy jet peddlers on a bridge during my travels. No wonder my men have been too high to rob caravans lately. I handled them accordingly.
Sorry, not interested.
How it's done, boys.
And even more handy when I found yet another gunner base to take over. It's about damn time. I was starting to get bored from no action. And oh boy, let me tell you, did I find some action. Yes, that is an Assaultron. Hello. Needless to say, it wasn't exactly pleased with our presence. Yeah, well, I'm not exactly pleased with your metal ass being in my new settlement, you son of a bitch. Thank you for your cooperation, dumbass. I found a couple more gunners, street level. One of them appeared to be a sergeant. Looks like you fellas were a little bit late for the party. I've killed all your friends, and now you're next. Well, that was fun, and extremely productive. Yet another of these gunner bases that we've managed to commandeer and to rebuild for our own men. This one even had its own communication satellite connected directly to Gunner's Plaza. Perfect, because that is exactly where we're headed next. Well, after a little pit stop back home. Ah, alas, a king's work is never done. As bad as I wish I could stay out on the road killing folks for days on end, as I have been already, I must come back to my office to take care of some business around the city. Like the issue that it's not quite large enough anymore. We're not a little podunk raider gang as we were previously. Our capital needs to expand with our empire and with our population, which has been increasing exponentially. And so, as such, we are going to be adding a gigantic residential kind of slum area on the outer walls of our city. Yes, indeed. When you come to the capital and the king with an issue, I will do my best to accommodate you with the the finest of wooden shacks that I have at my disposal. I remember at one point in previous episodes I had said that we were going to be the size of Diamond City in a few years. Well, I was wrong. It only took a few months. Look at the size of our capital now. Diamond City, eat your heart out. Now, if any of you think I'm wrong, just look at this photo of Diamond City. You're telling me we don't have a larger population and a larger city overall? I would say that you're lying. Now, is the quality of life here maybe not as great? mind your own fucking business. Moving right along though, now that we've taken care of the issues within the city, it's time for us to start prepping to take out Gunner's Plaza and to take it for ourselves. Starting off, we're going to be building ourselves a couple of deployable machine gun turrets. We can throw them down and pick them up at a moment's notice, making them perfect for conquest combat. Using all the materials that we've gotten from all the new places that we've taken over as well, I'm also going to be making some pretty major upgrades to my own weaponry, my personal rifles, giving them hardened receivers, allowing them to use better ammunition, better stocks on them, yada yada yada. I'm just making them all better overall, and I do mean all of them, including, but not limited to, my own missile launcher. I haven't really got to play around with this bad boy any, and I'm an eager beaver. I won't be going alone, but I also won't be taking an entire army. I can't afford to spread myself that thin, so I have acquired a squad, comprised of course of myself, Strong, and even Guy, now wearing her own set of power armor. I have so many to spare, I might as well share. We also have a couple other nameless raiders tagging along, but who cares? As we were headed for the south, we started to make a little stop in at a nearby radio station. This entire episode you've seen me taking over radio broadcast. I think you know why I'm here. Rex Goodman, on the other hand, didn't exactly know what I was doing here. He had heard of me, of course, but why would I be at his radio station? Don't you dare play stupid with me, Rex. Hey, where are you going? Luckily, since I'm the one that freed Rex and Strong from Trinity Tower, originally he was willing to cooperate with me. Phew, thank God. I was worried that was going to get ugly, Rex. Now do your job. Presto murdero. Just like that, we have yet another tower under our control. I think that's probably enough radio towers, and it's time for us to truly move on to the plaza. Hello, hello. Oh, how I can't wait for this place to be ours. The tower and its satellite dishes sit atop the building like a beautiful bow atop a Christmas present, just waiting on me to come in with my posse of thugs and murderers and unwrap it. Well, I couldn't bear the excitement any longer, and I started to come towards the gunners, and I started shooting them and killing them. They appear to also be in a bit of a fight with some caravan folk, and I'll be robbing them shortly after. For the time being, though, I have much bigger fish to fry. The crew and I would make our way inside, and we started taking out the gunners' turrets, as well as slaughtering their men guarding the internal portions of the building. So close quarters, so much blood, so many body parts flying, skull fragments hitting the visor of my armor. This is where the fun was. We continued clearing out the facility, but some of the gunners had really dug in deep and had us pinned down at a hallway. Thanks to our deployable turrets, though, we could get some ample cover fire, giving us enough time to reload and recharge a bit before ultimately taking them out. Thankfully, Strong and I had both packed our miniguns, easily shredding our enemies. Ah, come little turret, there are more souls to reap upstairs. This truly must be the main base of the gunners here in the Commonwealth, as I found many soldiers, obviously, but also corporals and sergeants, too. I also butchered all of them, rightfully so. With the attack completed upstairs, I found a gentleman who went by the name of Cruz. Ah, you must have been the commanding officer. Word has it there is another who leads this sorry-ass outfit, but Cruz, old buddy, old pal, if I could be honest with you, I don't really care. I think you're enough. I didn't come here for you anyways, I came here for the plaza. I heard some mice down in the basement, so I went to check things out, where we would find his cohort rider, who, along with his own crew, would be killed. Ah, it would seem we've finally taken the plaza for ourselves, and we've even managed to cripple the hierarchy of the gunners while doing so. A win-win. On the roof we spotted yet another generator, but instead of ripping out the fusion core and watching the little green sphincter turn gray, we'll be leaving it to stay powered. The reason being, it is powering one of the most powerful relays in the entire wasteland, similar to that of the Trinity Tower. You already know that, of course, but I just wanted to explain why I'm not taking up the core so I could see the little gray sphincter. Such a shame. Anywho, you know the drill by this point. We have the Plaza. The Plaza is in absolute ruins and is littered with the corpses of all of our enemies, and we need to fix that. So we did. Oh yeah, we prettied her up real nice. And we added in some alternative power sources up top with some windmills. We added some housing off to the western side of the building, added plenty of defenses, and basically we just really shaped the place up for all of our men. I would call this a huge milestone in our empire, but to be honest with you, I think that it is one of the last final bricks in the wall. I'm not very good at analogies, but I think you know what I mean. We now control one of the greatest radio towers in the entire wasteland. And as such, it's time that we start broadcasting, especially to all these unincorporated communities that think that someone's going to come and help them, like the Minutemen. Oh no. Well, folks of the Commonwealth, Minutemen are gone. They've been gone for years. The gunners, crippled. The other raiders, destroyed. Incorporated into my community, as you all shall be. I'm afraid you have no choice in the matter. The only choice you have is how much force I have to use. Your new God King, signing off. That's a good start, I'd say. Now then, let's start making some rounds in person. I headed over to Diamond City, where the good mayor was explaining to the good people about our new deal that we've struck. I'll be taking a 30% cut of all caps flowing in and out of the city, and they'll be sending 25% of all their food and resources to my capital city. In exchange, I offer them protection and restraint. Let me tell you, that's a much better deal than I offer to most. With that though, my friends, I think we have officially conquered the wasteland. And I want to thank you for staying with me on this journey. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been a killer time, pun intended of course, but I must bid you farewell. Our capital and our empire will still continue to grow. Today it's the wasteland, and who knows, maybe tomorrow it's Nuka World. I suppose we'll just have to find out. Another time. Love you. Bye.